This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Boring. Boring. Boring.
Okay, you gotta work. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're gonna feel.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Welcome on and all. Lembit Öpik here on Lembit Öpik Live on unprecedented TV on the second last day of the year. If you're watching, and yes, we will be on air tomorrow as well on the 31st of December. Big news today. We're going to do an experiment. We've got a guest coming into the studio, so I'm going to keep it brief now. But at 12 o'clock noon today, we have Tim Scott, the head of the Freedom Association, physically coming into the studio. We're going to try and do a live broadcast with him. What we're going to discuss is freedom, predictably enough, and specifically the question of how our civil liberties have fared in 2025. My personal view is that they've been trashed by the government that doesn't understand what liberty is. I became a member of parliament specifically because of free speech issues, and I think I've been very badly served by the current government and former governments too, to be honest with you. One of the reasons I lost all faith in the Liberal Democrats is because they seem to stop understanding what freedom means. Not very good look. Anyway, we're going to be discussing all this with Tim Scott at noon today, 30th of December, if you're watching live. Obviously, you'll be able to see this and that show in the archive. Please do like and subscribe to our YouTube presence, which is Unprecedented TV. Thank you, all of you who have been doing that. The numbers just keep rising. So that's Tim Scott. He's a rather interesting character. He runs his own show here as well. He runs Tim Scott Uncancelled program. It has been really superb in getting interesting and great guests. Here he is working for the competition, but we forgive him. He's a very, very decent chap. So we're all excited here at the studio that he's coming in to have a chat with us. Just one other thing I want to cover now, though. I don't want to double dip. I don't want to keep you too long now because I really want you to come later on. But just an observation about Volodymyr Zelensky, the putative head of Ukraine, that corrupt state, which seems to manage to snaffle away huge quantities of money through that corruption. He spent some time, as you may have seen, with Donald Trump. And a lot of people say it went very well and they've been quite complimentary about it. I'm not so sure. My problem with Donald Trump's meeting isn't Trump. It's the fact that Zelensky himself doesn't seem capable of understanding he has to give up land. That's a really big problem. And the reason it's a problem is because if you don't give up land, Mr. Zelensky, you're not going to have very much land left. And the big problem here is we've just basically got a guy who seems completely incapable of understanding that. So what he's been doing is essentially playing fast and loose with other people's lives, as far as I can see. And he's not going to the front line to fight. He's going to meet the troops sometimes. But if Zelensky isn't willing to give up land, then he's going to lose that land anyway, but at the cost of great cost of lives. Now, Trump-Zelensky talks yield no progress in Ukraine-Russia territorial issues is one of the headlines. I think that's true. And that's a really big worry because my prediction, and you don't have to be pro-Russia to believe this, my prediction is that Zelensky either gives up the land and then there can be a lasting peace, or he doesn't, in which case he'll lose the land before there's a lasting peace. What the European clowns, in my view, failed to understand is that there is no prospect of Zelensky winning. He cannot win that war. It's literally impossible. And yet he carries on as if he's got some great right to success. And I don't see it. I don't see how he can win. His meetings are now much more cautious with Donald Trump. Hardly surprising. The guy was a complete disaster area whenever he went there at the beginning of 2025. But he hasn't learned many lessons as far as I can see. He still seems to be stuck in this infinite loop of self-belief. And I don't like that because it's killing people. And the reason it's killing people is quite simply because he is incapable of winning a war. Winning a war requires quite a lot of technical expertise, and it means you must be a military expert as well as a political one. He doesn't seem to be either. So when he went to see Donald Trump, it's all very friendly and it looks fine, but it doesn't lead anywhere. And while he's doing, well, it would lead somewhere if he listened to what Donald Trump's telling him, but unfortunately he doesn't. And so therefore we've got these endless debates, endless conversations, endless acts of hope that'll lead us to peace. I just don't think that's happening. So my advice, not that Volodymyr Zelensky is going to listen to me because he hasn't listened to Donald Trump. My advice to Zelensky is give up the land. You're going to lose it anyway. Stop the killing and have a lasting peace. I've been watching the mainstream media today. That's the 30th of December, 2025. Not one channel suggests that Russia's got any point at all in this war. And if you don't understand the causes of a war, you're not going to fix them. And that's the fundamental issue. People think, oh, Lembit must be massively pro-Russia. I'm pro-reality. And the reality is, unless Europe is willing to go to war on a scale unheard of since Second World War, it's not going to be able to help Ukraine win. There is no way through that. So, yeah, put your comments on X if you want to. Very interested to hear what you have to say. But the reality here is that we haven't got any prospect of a Ukrainian victory. And if I'm right about that, that simply means that the measurement will be how many lives are lost instead. So that's my view on it. We'll probably not cover that with Tim Scott today. We'll mainly talk about free speech issues, but you never know where the debate goes. If you do think that I'm wrong, do follow me on X and say so. I'm always happy to have a dialogue. I put an X message out on this in the morning. But most importantly, do please subscribe to Unprecedented TV and join us at noon if you're watching on the 30th of December, 2025, for a live interview right here in the studio with Tim Scott, the head of the Freedom Association. Hope to see you then. Thanks so much for watching this short introduction, and I suppose maybe a little bit of a moan as well. And oh, just one comment to come in. Yeah, yes, I am consistent on this. For 2 years at least, I've thought that there is no prospect whatever that Volodymyr Zelensky can win. He's not an experienced politician, and he certainly is no military expert. And as a result, he has made some absolutely appalling decisions. At the same time, the corruption is debilitating the ability of the Ukrainian army to win because a lot of the money is being siphoned away. Zelensky did himself great harm reputationally when he tried to prevent independent scrutiny of corruption in the Zelensky regime. It's like a smoking gun, really. It looks like he's got something died. So I'm unapologetic on this. I think Zelensky cannot win the war. He's not a good politician, and he's a military failure. And when other people give him useful advice, people like Donald Trump, who quite clearly has a good relationship with Vladimir Putin, which is necessarily helpful in negotiations, Zelensky ought to listen, but he doesn't listen. Instead, he carries on his own sweet way. And the killing fields of Ukraine continue to bury dead Ukrainian soldiers mainly. Well, just one other thing. I don't believe that Russia's losing more troops than Ukraine. I can't see how that could happen, considering that Ukraine is the inexperienced army full of conscripts. Russia is the hard-bitten, hard-nosed fighting machine, really, which relentlessly moves forward. Anyway, that's my view. The happier story, although we might be talking about some fairly dark aspects of freedom of expression when we get to the program. The happy news is that Tim Scott will be here in the studio with me at noon GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, to discuss freedom and the extent to which our freedoms have been taken away by the current government and perhaps by previous governments as well. Now, that's something to watch. And also from a technical point of view, let's see how we do. Instead of looking down the lens, down the camera at somebody, they're going to be physically in the studio. Another experiment I wanted to squeeze in before the new year. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Lembit Öpik. This is Unprecedented TV. Please do subscribe and like on YouTube. I'll see you at noon.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages.